Hello, I'm back again with the 2009 Infiniti FX50, and in this video I'd like to explore this topic on when should you repair or replace things on your vehicle. Should you wait for things to break and then you replace them, or should you do that preventively, just be proactive about it and replace them before they break? So I'm going to use this coil pack as an example of, and it doesn't cover every situation, but it's just a good one to talk about. About 2 weeks ago, I had an issue with a misfire, and I troubleshot tracked it to be a coil pack issue with my number one cylinder. I replaced it and everything was going on well. But 1 week later, I got another misfire. So at this point, you're at a crossroads. Are you thinking, if I have a misfire on that same cylinder, I either did not do the repair properly, or maybe some other problem has come up with that same cylinder. Or number two, if I have a misfire with any of the other cylinders, then this might just be an indication that I'm approaching the end of life, right? So let's do this. Let me get into the vehicle and then start it and read the codes and stuff like that. Push the brake, push the button. Guess I didn't push hard enough. There you go. Oh, you can hear it's tumbling, it's struggling. 214 to 89. Let me get my cheap code reader and let's see what the code is. Turn the radio on. If I can get it in there. Okay. Scan. One code. Okay, great. P0302. And that's just pending, but it's still causing me issues, right? So let's just go ahead and turn it off. And I've got my tools and all the other stuff here. I'll tell you what, I am actually happy that it's a different code, because that tells me that the repair that I did on cylinder number one is fine. No problems with it, right? The fact that I'm getting number two though, you guys remember what it involves, right? Removing this is, there you go. Perfect. So the fact that this is a cylinder that had an issue and I replaced it, and I guess I put the coil pack in the wrong place, but it's okay. I can remember what I was doing. And now I've got another cylinder here causing problems. Most probably, I mean, I could troubleshoot it again like the way I did, try to figure out if it's a spark plug, coil pack, if it's an issue with injectors, cylinder itself, or I could just say, hey, the vehicle's got 215,000 miles, my coil packs are going bad. So the reason is that when you get original coil packs, these are used, by the way, from a spare engine. Otherwise, it would have been a pretty expensive adventure to be going through, right? And when you get to this point, and you have to buy, I usually say don't bother with them unless you're even buying original OEM coil packs, because aftermarket ones might not work as well. So some people say, hey, the car's got 200,000 miles, replace all the spark plugs, replace all the coil packs, and then it becomes expensive, right? If you're doing it with OEM parts, it could be a little expensive. If you're doing it with aftermarket parts, could be a little cheaper, but again, are you guaranteed that everything's gonna run well? Sometimes not, especially with Nissan engines. I've found that the V8s especially very, very picky as to how they run. So this is where I guess the choice comes in, right? Do I keep replacing one by one as they fail, or do I just go ahead and replace all 8 of them and say, I want to make sure, for peace of mind, I want to make sure that my engine is going to be dependable and keep running it. I can run this as an experiment because, one, I've got a bunch of spares and I can go at it as slowly as I want, as quickly as I want. But your typical person doesn't have a bunch of spare coil packs sitting around waiting for the day that they all fall out, right? So this is where you get into that balance. If you drive for short distances and maybe it's not too crucial and you can deal with the inconvenience of your car breaking down and needing a tow, or driving with a misfire, which again, not very good because that's what damages your catalysts, right? Your catalytic converters. It's not a very good thing. If you can deal with that, maybe you can say, hey, I'll take a gamble. Maybe just 2 were bad and I'll just keep running until, who knows? Because I think some people look at it and say, well, the car's got 200,000 miles. Why would I spend 500 on it? Because they're thinking I'm not adding any value to the car. And that's true. If someone were to come to buy this vehicle from me and say the Blue Book value is $10,000, they're not going to pay me any more if I'd replace all my coil packs. Typically, I mean, buying and selling, that's just what I know. I'm the kind of person who would give you a little bit of money if I know that you did it right. You know, you've saved me some time. Because Blue Book value is just like, look at the mileage and that's what I'm paying you for, regardless of what else you've done. So people come into that decision like, should I even spend money on it or not? However, I do know some people that make so much money and do not want any form of uncertainty. These are people who want to know that my car is going to run every day and everything's going to be fine. So that means they will spend, you know, I'm talking about people that make $300 to $400 an hour, and they spend money. They say that's chump change. Replace all of those, replace all the coil packs, replace all the spark plugs. That way I know that my car is almost brand new, and then I'm not going to have any problems. Excuse me, whenever I'm driving, I'm, you know, on a business trip, and then your car breaks down, or just that uncertainty. You know, you could end up in a position where, like, because you're trying to save money by replacing them one by one, right? You could end up putting yourself in a position where you end up losing so much money or inconveniencing yourself or your family in a major way. But, I mean, let's be real. If you're driving a car with 200,000 miles, I don't know if that's where you fall. Maybe not. But, I mean, it's a pretty old car. 2009, we're talking about a 13-year-old car by now with 200,000 miles. If certainty is such a big deal, these are the people, and this is why people usually buy brand new cars with warranties, because they don't want to play with all these games, you know. So it's just something I wanted to talk about. So what's my play going to be? My play is going to be this. Remember, I bought this vehicle to test it out and basically push it as far as it can go. I'm not abusing it. I'm just using it just to see how far it will go. So what I'm going to do, I know that I replaced coil pack it was in number 1, although I moved it over there. Number 3 went here. I do have that video to refer to. I guess I'll just change positions again. What I'm gonna do long term is I'll just keep replacing the ones that fail one by one, just one by one, until I've gotten to a point where I've replaced all of them. I would like to have a blanket statement saying, well, whenever you get to 200,000 miles, just replace all your coil packs, but I can't guarantee that, because I know, reading the history, this vehicle has never had to replace any coil packs prior to 2 weeks ago, right? So 215. But I know some people who've had to replace the coil packs in their vehicles when using the M56 engine. They had to do it like maybe at like 70, 80,000 miles. So I don't know that, you know, one size fits all number or mileage that people should replace their coil packs. But I'll take one for the team. That means I'll keep using this vehicle as a test mule, and so basically replace one coil pack till whenever it goes. If something else goes, we'll just see. Ideally, in my mind, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe 7 and 8 will never even need to be replaced. They're a little different. But this is it's all fun for me. It's a learning process. So I hope that makes sense. It's a really long way to say that replace the coil packs if you like peace of mind. If the peace of mind is worth more to you than saving a few hundreds of dollars, go for it. On the other hand, if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to waste money and you'd rather, play your chances, just replace them as they fail. Replace only what fails. The only thing that you absolutely have to replace because of mileage is the spark plugs, and they tell you 105,000 miles, replace them. I've had cars that have been neglected and the spark plugs look good even up to 200,000 miles, like gap is still good, and I'm like, so it's just a peace of mind thing, right? So yeah, I at this point, it's getting really cold. I guess that's the other reason I'll be doing this one by one, because we're still in winter right now and you don't really have too much time to be playing with all of them. So I'll replace only what I need right now, and maybe in the summer, if by the time summer comes around I'll have replaced 4 out of 8, then I'll just say, you know what, take my chances and replace all 8 while I'm at it. Okay, I'm done. I just replaced the coil pack, and it took me 5 minutes. I loosened this and that clamp over there, removed this section and removed this one as well, and then I went in there, took out the 10mm holding the coil pack, removed the coil pack. And unlike last time that I made a video, I did not troubleshoot it. I did not play with the spark plugs and all that. I just said, hey, because 2 weeks ago I replaced one coil pack, I had a misfire and it was due to a coil pack. I decided to go that social media way, saying, yeah, it must be a coil pack again. So I said, you know, it's a gamble. Let's see if it works. If not, I'll troubleshoot it and go for something else. So where are my keys? I do have the keys right here. Let's plug this in. Remember how rough it ran last time I started the car? Yeah, we're gonna see if this solves it. Okay, start. Hey, sounds better already. Let's scan it for codes. Same code, P0302. But, oh, and it says the check engine light off. It actually never came on. It never came on at all. I need gas. I do need gas. So, yeah, I think I'm good. I think I solved the problem. Yeah, no stumble or anything. It sounds good. So at this point, I'm willing to say this. I know it's kind of crazy, but I'll say, if you feel like you want to replace all your coil packs because you found one coil pack to be bad on your Infiniti FX50, yeah, go ahead and do it. If you want to be proactive and replace all your coil packs on your Infiniti FX50 because you've gone to 200,000 miles, go ahead and do it. Seems valid, right? So what I'm gonna do, knowing that I replaced coil pack for number 1 and then number 2 shortly after, right? I just need to get myself ready. That 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 will be coming up pretty soon. So I'll keep you guys updated, but I guess this is part 2 to just justify, you know, should you just replace your coil packs based on mileage, right? Make sense? All right, all the best. Talk to you guys later. I need to go for a test drive.